Hi folks, it's John here, and today I was just about to do a refurb on this base. It's a precision base, and I thought, hey, wait a minute, before I start the refurb, why don't I just run the video and let you guys see what I am doing? So here's the, it's not a costly one, it's a cheap precision-based copy, an Encore, I think it is, not expensive guitars. And I'll tell you the history behind this. We were in Wales a few months ago doing some outreach, and we were in a charity shop, and just for fun, I'd already been in there and saw they didn't have anything interesting whatsoever. So I went outside, and just for fun, I just said, oh, have you got any guitars today? Knowing that the answer would be no. To my surprise, one of the chaps there, he was there with his wife and a baby in a pram, and he said, oh, I've got a bass guitar and I live only around the corner, I want to sell it. So I said, well, actually, it's a bass guitar I'm actually after. So he went across the road, brought this guitar out, and I didn't really want it, to be honest with you. It's not exactly the best instrument in the world, and the strings are really, really rusty on it. But I could see that the chap really needed money for his wife and baby. He was unemployed, and I thought, hey, you know what, let me buy it off of him, because I know that that will go to help his family. So I bought the thing. I actually gave him more than he asked for, and took it home and basically said, you know what, the church can have it, because I really wasn't interested in it. Meanwhile, my son Luke, he is really keen to get a Gretsch short scale bass, perhaps for Christmas or birthday or something. But I don't want to buy a brand new bass for him never having tried playing a bass in his life. So I thought, hey, let's get this guitar out, let's restring it with some proper strings, clean it up, and let's see what he can do with the bass. Okay, so that's the story behind this bass. Now let's get to the bench and start working on it. And here we are going to put it on the workbench. And oh, by the way, this was another charity shop purchase. This is one of those things you iron shirt collars on. And when I bought it, my wife thought I'd gone absolutely crackers. She just thought, am I going to start ironing shirts? No, it's to rest the neck of the guitar on, so it doesn't stress out the guitar. Okay, so good. Now let's give you a little bit of a close-up on the guitar. It's obviously a little road worn. The nut looks like it's going to be okay. The fretboard and the frets need cleaning up nicely, or dressing, as they say. The pickups work, I've already tried them. And so basically what I'm going to do is clean it up, and I've taken some photos of the height of the action, and I've measured it with a string gauge. If you're going to do a lot of setup on guitars, then I highly recommend you buy a string gauge. They won't cost you an earth. I think this is about £7 or £8. And basically, you go to the 12th fret, and you can measure how, if I show you the 12th fret, how high the strings are from the fretboard. Okay, right. So that's basically what we're going to do. I'm going to keep this a short video, because I don't see any reason to make it long. I'm not a bass expert, so I'm just going to clean it up now, and I'll show you some photos of it once it's clean. Just a quick note here for those of you that don't know. To tighten the strings counterclockwise, to loosen them clockwise, and they go to the outer and go around the capstan, and you want to string them so they're going down, not up. Don't forget the string tree, which you can't see in this picture. So the two top strings go, the D and the G go under the string tree. Can't really see this, can you? Just, there we go. Just unwinding them. And you'll see they come off quite neatly. That part of it just slots into the capstan like that. And then we just have to remove it from the back. I'll do it single-handed, holding the guitar in the other hand. Because I want to show you on video what's happening. There we go. Right, so the strings are off the guitar, which basically mean now I can look at the condition of it, clean it up, and I can also lower this now. I can also check the fretboard to see if it's warped or if it needs any adjustment. Now, the first bit of cleaning, I'm going to be quite strong with it. I just want you to know that I'm not recommending you clean a guitar this way. I'm using a multi-purpose cleaner on the fretboard. Later, once it's clean, I will use lemon oil. I'll probably use wire wool. Whoops. It's just gone. I will use wire wool on the frets later. Very, very fine. That's 0000, so 0000 a grade wire wool. I don't want to dry out the fretboard. I'm not recommending this is the way you do it. I want you to look at videos on YouTube and get other expert advice. I'm doing this primarily just to show what you can do at home, and if you've got an old guitar or an old bass that you think needs a bit of work, this is what you can do. I'm not going to take responsibility if you go and destroy your Fender, which this is not. Now, actually, it's quite surprising because this is actually coming out fairly clean, which really surprises me. Usually, fifth fret isn't quite so clean. Usually, you find that people have been smoking, if it's been on gigs and things, it's got tobacco smoke, grunge on it, and even the cleanest guitar, you'll find that it's got a certain amount of grunge coming off it. You can see that. There's a little bit of grunge coming off the higher frets. And I don't spray directly onto the fretboard, just so you know. Just up a bit so you can see it. You get the idea anyway. So that's stage one before I use the steel wool. Okay, now I've smoothed the first 3 frets, and if you use your just your fingertips, when you're doing this, you can feel how far you're getting, because here, first, second, third fret, really smooth. As soon as you get the 4th fret, it's feeling rough. And of course, I have used steel wool. Very fine steel wool you can get. And I've put some, obviously I've used some water-based solvent on it so it's not dry. Now's the time where we're going to put some lemon oil on it. Lemon oil is the fretboard's best friend. So here it goes. I don't want to dry out the fretboard. And that's the danger of using any kind of water-based solvent on a fretboard. The danger is drying out the fretboard, and we want to really let lemon oil soak into this really, really nicely. I'm going to leave that for a while, not forgetting just behind here. I'm going to let that soak in. I think already you can see, if I can get the camera to, let's move the camera shade. Right, I think you can see the difference between the first 3 frets and later on the fret. Something else as well. As I was cleaning the frets with the steel wool, when I wiped the frets dry, that's when I started picking up lots of grunge off the fretboard. So this is going to be really smooth, really nice fretboard when it's finished, going to be silky smooth to play, I hope. And we're going to get the best out of this inexpensive P-Bass Encore guitar or bass. Thanks so much. Okay, I've conditioned the fretboard with steel wool and lemon oil. I've used lemon oil rather than detergent because the fretboard was not that dirty. But as you can see, I've left the 3rd fret unconditioned at this point, just so you can see the contrast between the frets that I've conditioned and the frets that I haven't. So I've conditioned all the other ones. As you go higher up the fretboard, you can always tell cheaper guitar because the higher up you go, they're not finished as well. Very often the fret wires also protrude. This one's actually quite good. It's not too bad. It's a little rougher up top end, but the fret wires are quite good on this guitar, so I'm quite pleased about that. Obviously, I'll do that one later. I did that so that you get an example of before and after. And if you run your finger, you can just feel whether or not it's smooth or not. Right there, right up to the 12th fret, very smooth. And getting higher, it's smooth, but you can tell that the guitar wasn't finished quite as well up there. So what we're actually trying to do is, even with a guitar that it's not a costly one, and if you're experimenting a little bit like I am, start with something that isn't an heirloom or something that's a Gibson or a Fender or something, and try to make that guitar, that instrument, better than it was when it left the factory. That's really what I'm trying to do, is get these instruments in a playable condition that actually is better than they were when they left the showroom. And if I can do that, I'll be very happy. Right, this is the end of, this is part 1. Hopefully I'll show you once the strings are up and running. Okay, thanks so much. John Ruffle here on the Guitar Tech Man or Guitar Playman. I don't know what you want to call me, but there you are. Thanks for watching, and put your comments and your suggestions and your tips in the box underneath, and subscribe for my inspirational videos. See you soon.